Is the key to achieving our goals, our success. Some people suggest things like hard work, focus, persistence. But research shows these are all byproducts of something else, something much more powerful that we can all develop. It is this very special something that really is critical to success and is what I'm here to discuss with you today. Someone who has achieved great success is Josh Waitzkin, a chess international master and the subject of the movie Searching for Bobby Fischer. Nobody has won all the national chess championships that Josh.
Peace and blessings, beautiful souls, magnificent beings. We're jumping into mindset and belief. One of the key components when it comes to mindset is you and I must be aware of the self-talk that we engage in on a regular basis. If that self-talk has been a positive, a inspirational, and a determined to succeed self-talk within our brain, then we are on the right path. If you and I have engaged in the negative self-talk that comes from circumstances and situations that didn't work out to our favor, that becomes a hindrance to a positive mindset that is the key to developing tools and skills in order to achieve specific goals. And this is why we must look at our mindset as the initial foundation of whatever success or whatever failure will come and land at our door. Allow him to continue.
Josh has. But even more impressive, when he turned 21, he took on the challenge of mastering something completely new and very different from chess: martial arts. He realized that he had learned how to grow and succeed, and he could apply that understanding to other domains. And so he devoted himself relentlessly to Tai Chi Chuan. And after lots of hard work, many failures, and some broken joints, he became a great martial artist and he won 2 world championships. Now he's off to jiu-jitsu. So what does Josh say is the greatest thing that ever happened to him? Believe it or not, he says, losing my first national chess championship because it helped me avoid many of the psychological traps. The key trap that Josh avoided was believing that he was special, that he was smarter than other people, and that he didn't have to work hard. He could have thought of himself as a prodigy, but he doesn't think that he has extraordinary intelligence. He says, the moment we believe that success is determined by an ingrained level of ability, we will be brittle in the face of adversity. Josh often quotes Stanford professor Carol Dweck, who discovered that some people see intelligence or abilities as fixed, what is called a fixed mindset, while other people see them, as Josh does, as qualities that can be developed, a growth mindset. More important,
2 things: a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. Again, the fixed mindset says that I have a ceiling, a cap on my abilities, and this is what I am able to do. This is all I'll be able to do, and I'm stuck with this. That growth mindset allows us to see all possibilities if we put in the work and put in the time necessary to develop the skill set and the tool set in order to bring forth what it is that we are seeking to accomplish and or achieve. And this is why we must always maintain a growth mindset. Know that we can do what our minds can conceive if we put the work in it and if we develop the ideal and develop the systems necessary in order to bring that into fruition. Allow him to continue.
Dr. Dweck discovered that these 2 different mindsets lead to very different behaviors and results. In a study she did with Dr. Lisa Blackwell, several hundred 7th graders were surveyed to determine which mindset each student had, and then they were tracked for 2 years. Results showed that the students with a growth mindset, those who thought they could change their own intelligence, increased their grades over time, while those with a fixed mindset did not. You can see the trend. The gap in performance just widens and widens over time. The difference between these 2 groups? a different perspective on intelligence.
Powerful. And this is why, again, mindset is the determining factor of sustained success and our ability to seek out and do new things, conquer new things, and continue to advance ourselves mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically across the board. This is why we must develop the growth mindset. We must not allow defeat. We must not allow shortcomings. We must not allow things that have or that we consider to be failure to stop us from moving forward. I used to have that issue. Everything seemed to go downhill when I got into a situation that went downhill. But that was because of the mindset. Of course, the situation was undesirable, but my mindset compounded that situation. So instead of going to work, this is back in my younger days, instead of going to work to get the money that I needed in order to grab the things that I wanted, I chose to sell drugs. And the more I sold drugs, the more I exposed myself to the possibility of going to prison. And when I went to prison, it was a consequence of me selling the drugs. So I went to prison. The downward spiral of the mind continued to go downward because the circumstances were actually in alignment with the behavior and the mindset that I had grasped. So if I had a growth mindset, if I didn't have that fixed mindset that the only way I could make money was to sell drugs, which eventually led me to going to prison. Instead, if my mindset at that time was a growth mindset, and I said that anything is possible legally, then I would have pursued avenues, disciplined myself in a way to build the skill set and the tool sets that were necessary in order to achieve the amount of money that I wanted in a legal way instead of achieving that amount in a negative way because of a fixed mindset that drug dealing was the only way I was going to achieve certain financial goals. And this is the key to our success. Fits versus growth. Don't allow yourself to get stuck because of the negative consequences and the struggle that many and most of us deal with continues to be there. The struggle likely would never go away. It's going to be a different type of struggle. But if we fix our minds to believe that this is a fixed outcome, I'm going to continue to struggle. I'm only going to be able to make this amount of money. I'm going to continue to be financially in a situation where I'm living paycheck to paycheck. All these things become ingrained and you cannot escape it if the mindset is fixed and you're constantly allowing yourself to recycle those thought patterns. You will continue to struggle and continue to do the behaviors that will lead to the same results. A growth mindset requires of us to try things new, requires of us to make adjustments, requires of us to look at those setbacks and those failures as learning tools, not as the detrimental downfall of our being that we cannot change. Yes, it's difficult. Yes, it is negative. Yes, it is not the outcome that you want when the thing that we're working on failed or things that we're working on are not succeeding. Those are temporary things, and it may be a sign that you and I need to adjust. But if we have a fixed mindset, we would never make that type of adjustment. Again, growth mindset is the key to success, the key to fulfillment within life. Let's develop a growth mindset. It requires discipline. It requires the curiosity to want to learn more, to achieve more, the desire, and it requires a certain level of sacrifice. All of us have that within our being to do. All we have to do is lock into those things. Again, have a beautiful day. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe and like. Have a beautiful day. Peace.